Welcome back to Nandji 2.0. A lot has happened since we've been on here last. We actually delivered Nandji to Langkawi with the new owners of her, and we spent a day clearing in, and then we caught 2 flights back then. So we're back on Nandji 2.0, but it has taken a lot to get here. We didn't really film much of the journey. We just wanted to give them some privacy. I'm sure not everybody wants to have a huge amount of people watching them sailing on their new boat for the first time. So we're getting stuck back into the work here on Nandji 2.0. Yeah, Yosh is downstairs. I think he's working on the new veneers for inside the cupboards that we ripped out.
Beautiful. Now that we've cut all these pieces that fit perfectly into each cupboard, it's pretty much up to the stage of where we can start fixing these in. We're going to leave the roofs free so you can still see what's going on up underneath. So we still need to water seal the whole boat. So we still need to rebed all the stanchions and all those through bolts through the deck. So we want to be able to make sure we can still see the roof of each cupboard. That's the whole point of it, you know. But before we install all of these bits to go back into the cupboard so we can make the cupboard look pretty in the bottom half, it is marine ply, but I'm going to cover it all with epoxy on the backside, and then we'll prime and paint the inside bit of the cupboard white. But on the back where you're not going to see it, and all around the edges, that's where it's sort of the fault is going to be, and especially along the edges. So we're just going to coat it all with epoxy, and just to protect that wood. And yeah, so if there is any little water leak or through deck fitting that does leak in the future, the water's just going to sort of trickle down and go into the bilge. It's not going to ruin any bits of water or anything that I've put in, so everything's watertight. So if it leaks, it just goes in the bilge.
The fridge guys are also here. We ordered a part that, like a junction box that switches between 12 volt and 220. So they're just installing that, and also I think the freezer fan isn't working, so they're just kind of going through and making sure everything's working okay, which, yeah, it's going to be pretty epic once it does. We have a freezer box now, Tallulah. We can have ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of ice cream.
Yeah.
We're not quite up to putting the mattresses back onto this boat and like the cushions and stuff, but they have been in storage for a few years, and so before that happens they need to be steam cleaned. So I need to sort out getting them out of storage, getting them cleaned, and then hopefully by the time that's done they'll be ready to move back on board.
After glassing up that keel, I wrapped it up in plastic and taped it up. Just for something different, and also because there was a lot of cleaning and water getting splashed around at the time. So I fully covered it up, and when you really wrap it like that, given it that little vacuum, man, I see why people do it. Definitely holds all that epoxy in, and it's kept its shape really well. And so I don't think we'll have to fare this if I do any good a job with the sandpaper now, or with the grinder. How is this little thing, eh? Boats are built with 4-inch grinders. This thing's sitting on its 3rd refit now, still going ham. Beautiful. Just clean that up with acetone and put some epoxy primer on it. Sweet. It'd be nice if I had gloves, but I don't, so that's what you get. Alright, 3 to 1. So 90 to 30. This stuff is really good gear though, and it's essential.
Built this thing from the ground up out of nothing. No flight plan, no manual, be bound. You and I, we're driving in the dark without headlights, trying to find our way. It's hard telling where we'll be in the coming days, but I'll be there with you. It's hard telling where we'll be in the coming.
The next big job before we go in the water is to rebed the stanchions, and so that's going to disrupt most of the cupboards on the outside of the boat, but the cupboards on the inside aren't going to affect it. So I've got some storage space in the galley where I can put some things away that aren't going to interfere with anything. So I brought 2 big containers of all of our cooking ware and stuff like that. So I'm finally starting to move some things onto this boat, which is really exciting. And one thing I did, I've got a few things from down at the shops, and one of the things I got was ice trays. So I don't know, ice is like a big deal to us because we haven't had it on the boat for forever, ever, you know. So we did have a freezer on Nandji, but it's only like this small, and so that space is utilized for meat and yeah, basically fish. So but this boat has a deep freezer, and it's also got a freezer in the stand-up fridge as well, so we have space to make ice cubes. This is like such a dream come true, especially in the tropics. So I'm gonna have to get a blender soon as well, and then we can make smoothies, and I'm just so excited for everything that this extra space brings us. Hey Yosh?
Oh yeah, you see my drill?
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just putting some stuff away and finding a home for it, which is so exciting.
So you can see I sort of cut out quite a bit of the inside bit of the cupboard here. I guess it's almost the bulkhead, but the main bulkhead of the aft cabin here is the next one over, which is fine and it's not rotted at all. But this little bit of bulkhead here was definitely glassed in heavily into the hull. So it's like a good 10 mil thick of glass, that's the tabbing of it. So I really want to make this structure really good again. Basically just cutting bits of plywood to make it as the filler, as the core. And that's to fill up all that space. And then on the inside of the cupboard here, I'll continuate this glass and fully tab it in and glass this whole inside of the cupboard, because that's sort of making that super strong. And I can't really glass on the other side because there isn't much access.
I'll jump on tree, cuckoo. There's some football for the bully.
Good morning. Today is an exciting day for me because all of the sails, the upholstery, the mattresses and stuff are getting delivered today. They were meant to be delivered yesterday afternoon, but that didn't happen. So this morning it should be happening first thing. I've got a lot to do today. I've got to organize the mattresses and stuff to be steam cleaned, and also hand wash all the sails and then dry them out and then put them away. So, and then I've also got 2 tubs. So I managed to organize 2 tubs of stuff to put back onto the boat. So there's one. Yeah, massive day for me today, so I'm excited. Nice shirt, mate.
Check them out, they're from Mullins. For all your lawn care, maintenance care on our peninsula at Port Lincoln, check them out.
All the boatyard. Yosh is straight into it. We yesterday I put 2 coats of primer on all the new veneers for the backs of the cupboard, and today Yosh is giving him a sand and is going to put a top coat on it, and then we can start putting the boat back together and all the cupboards back together, which is really exciting. We do have to start the deck fittings job, but we need to get some more tools for that. We'll be doing that later this afternoon, but we're just doing what we can now. My upholstery and stuff hasn't arrived yet, so I'm going to get straight into putting some of our stuff onto Independence. Jobs going at the moment and so many things to do that it can all feel incredibly overwhelming if you think about it all in one lump sum, but we've got a few things that we want to focus on today and we're just going to go from there. Hey Yosh.
Absolutely, after having been on the boat for a couple of days.
Yeah, we're like, where do we pick up?
You're like, well, there's a job here, because we've got so many things going on. Just need to like concentrate and knock out and tidy up the last couple of bits to be done on some jobs, you know.
But one job that did get finished that I don't think we filmed was the underneath the bed has been completely painted. Yeah. So that is fantastic. The rot's been taken out from below and around the bed, and we're back in the process of putting it back together. The demolition's over and paint's on, so...
Yeah, now we're just going to make it pretty, wire up the autopilot again. I need to look at photos. And then we can put all the covers on top of the bed and just close the bed up.
Yeah.
And then that bit there's done.
Yeah, I think are we gonna wait for the veneers until...
See how we go. We've still got time, so we have to wait on tradesmen. So
we're on a deadline here, and so we're trying to get the jobs done that make the boat seaworthy again, and veneers on the back of the bed aren't that important at the moment. So all of the veneers inside these cupboards have been taken out, and also the shells, and it's exposed the actual hull behind all of it, and it's pretty filthy. Like it's it's had like moisture in there and water leaking, so you can imagine how gross it's gotten. So all of this has been sprayed with mold killer and scrubbed, just looking so much fresher. It's feeling fresher, and it's just crazy that this was on the boat, you know. It just makes me wonder, like, what else is going on? But I mean, what's going on behind your veneers, huh? You know, it's crazy. This bedroom is just going to be pretty good once we're finished with it, and yeah, a beautiful bedroom. But yeah, it had to be done because yikes.
as I've mounted the autopilot again under the bed, I must have positioned the bulkhead in a little bit of a different position where it pulled out from, or I've actually used thicker ply as well, maybe that's what it is. So previously the drawers went in, they went up flush, right up like 10 mil off of the ACU, the computer of the autopilot there, and the compass. But now the drawers hit. So I just chopped the top two drawers, cut 100 mil off, so there's heaps of space there. So we just need to rebuild the drawers, and they were sort of, like all the laminate was peeling off on most of them. So I got the two worst ones out of the four. Cut it up. Now we've got to put it all back together again. Boat work, eh? Pretty much just equates to, here's a time lapse. So, here's a time lapse.
Finally, it's in the back of the ute. Wow. Bit stinky.
The ceiling cushions do look pretty manky, so I'm glad we spent the morning checking out
The upholstery. Yeah.
But definitely they'll do the job. You know, they might come up Mickey Mouse once the old steam clean operates on them.
Yeah, maybe.
Bit going on here.
There's a lot. This is like a lot to just dump on someone.
Big sails too, eh?
Yeah. I totally forgot about cockpit cushions. It hadn't even crossed my mind. I was just like, you know, enjoying the teak wood in there so much that I didn't even think we'd have cushions. Oh, these ones are actually
They look mint
really
too.
well. These look new. Well, not, yeah, these look pretty new.
Sick. Let's go.
And I think, why is there only 3 cockpit cushions? Are they cockpit cushions? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you think that's a bit weird?
Yeah, there's no horizontal, they're just all flat ones. They're all for seats.
Yeah, but we've only got
Across
2
the back,
seats.
it goes up and down.
It's not going to fit one of those, is it?
Don't know, man. All in all, that's a pretty good find, really. Like, you know, we didn't see the stores before we purchased the boat, and seeing these big, thick-looking mattresses that are pretty new. They should come up pretty fresh once they're all steam cleaned. Finding some cockpit cushions. We've got 2 sets of sails and a Jenica and a storm jib. The sails, there's meant to be a set of sails that are brand new, so that's pretty sick. Although looking at them, they definitely all look like they've been used, but well, it doesn't matter. They're still looking like they're in really good condition, so we'll have to pull all them out, but that's not going to happen today. Just make some space to aerate everything, and then the steam clean lander can come, eh?
Yeah, we need a steam cleaner. ASAP. Well, I guess I better get scrubbing then. Probably not the normal way you clean the couch.